There's the bell for round one between these two fighters. Bernice Barber fighting wearing the red trunks, trimmed in white, going up against Glenwood Brown. He's wearing the red trunks, trimmed in black.
Well, right off the bat, I think what Bernice Barber should do is go downstairs to Glenwood's body. Glenwood's a big banger. He always start off fast and very strong early. But you go down to that body where he's a little flabby around that midsection, take a lot of that steam away from him.
So, of course, Glenwood Brown, he's had a quite interesting career. Had a couple opportunities at the championship level, and here he is now fighting here in the Maryland area, I believe for the first time, and going up against a guy that we've seen in this area, both as a fighter and a kickboxer, Bernice Barber. Interesting main event for us tonight here, John.
Well, potentially an interesting main event. 20 pounds ago, Glenwood Brown was, fighting the likes of Maurice Blocker for the WBC welterweight title. He started off really fast so far against a very durable Bernice Barber, but I like what Vincent Petway says, which is go down to the body and see what Glenwood's got. And I'm also going to be interested to see whether Glenwood Brown can maintain a fast pace over 10 rounds.
Well, it's also going to be interesting to see Bernice Barber. Never seen him in a bad fight. He always comes to fight, and he's had some classics in his career as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two guys mix it up here tonight.
And he's starting off very fast, is Glenwood Brown. This is just the first round. This is a 10-round fight, so he's trying to get things over and done with quick. But like you said, Bernice Barber is a very durable guy, so he's going to see what kind of stamina Glenwood has as the fight progresses.
Coming up on a minute to go here in this opening round, third man in the ring, Gary Caponecchi. As he presides and looks close, keeps a close eye on both these fighters.
The fact that Bernice Barber has the height and reach advantage, I think he should be standing on the outside trying to box and land some good jabs from out there and pick his opponent apart instead of standing there trading with him. This favors Glenwood Brown to be close because he's the guy with the shorter arms.
But at the same time, this is how Bernice Barber always seems to fight. He likes to get inside, but he also works the body well, Vincent. So this, while you would think he would maybe do better off outside, if he can work the body effectively, he might wind up finding pay dirt in the later rounds.
I tell you, when you think about Bernice Barber, I mean, there's probably folks still buzzing and thinking about this fight that was in the area a few years back. What a just tremendous war he had with Lloyd Jabba Bryant down in Greenbelt, Maryland. Heck of a doggone fight, and people who remember Bernice Barber from that fight know what he's capable of doing in the ring.
And he also gave world-ranked Paul Vaden a heck of a battle on the Middleweight Mayhem show at the Showplace Arena last November.
So he's no stranger to this area, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be back for more.
Maybe it was 2 years ago.
And there's the bell for round two. We're scheduled for 10. This is the main event here at Martins West. Those of you just joining us, we've seen a very entertaining and explosive night of professional boxing, and we're capping the night off with these two super middleweight fighters, Bernice "The Heat" Barber in the red trunks, trimmed in white, going up against Glenwood Brown, wearing the red trunks, trimmed in black.
What he should do now is he sees Glenwood drop that left hand down like that, time him. As he bring that hand back down, right hand over top. Every time. We'll just start hitting him on that arm so he can't lift it up. That's the first to ever see Glenwood switch up to the southpaw.
Bernice Barber now trying to unleash that jab, get the jab going, and of course, Glenwood Brown comes back with a jab of his own.
Vincent, was there ever any talk of you fighting Glenwood Brown?
A long time ago. And when I was down at the 140-pound weight and I stepped up to welterweight, they were talking about myself facing him, but somehow it never came off. And I was at the fight where he fought Meldrick Taylor up in Philadelphia, and he dropped Meldrick Taylor twice, and I actually thought he won the fight, but they didn't give him the decision.
Many people thought he won that fight, and I'm sure Glenwood Brown's among the people that thinks he won that fight, but that's how it goes in boxing sometimes. But as we step into the action between these two guys right now, it would appear that Glenwood Brown kind of got off to a quicker start, try to test Bernice Barber to see what Bernice Barber had, and now I think he's landed some good shots to the head end of the body and realizes he might be in there a while, so he's beginning to make some adjustments himself here to settle down for the long haul.
Yeah, exactly. Those adjustments are about pacing, and he's taking his time. And but like Vincent said, the one thing that we're seeing Glenwood do is drop that left hand a little bit low, and if Bernice Barber can find the spot, he can maybe drop a right hand right on the jaw.
Bernice is landing some good body shots on the inside.
This is obviously not an optimal fighting weight for Glenwood Brown. He's got a lot of excess weight on the midsection. Maybe so. We're wondering what direction his career is going in. This might not be the telling fight, but he's going to have to get in some better shape if he's going to move back up the ladder.
I think some of those body shots seem to hurt Glenwood. He backed out there on his own free will. He's getting hit with some good shots.
Bernice Barber now doubling up with the right hand.
Oh, good there. Good right hand there. And he got Glenwood holding down. And maybe that did some damage. We're not sure, but it landed pretty flush.
Coming up on 30 seconds to go here in this second round.
Good right hand on the inside. And Glenwood's always been, good left hook. Glenwood's always been known as a durable guy, but he's taking some big shots here.
Pretty good right hand on part of Glenwood Brown. He answers back as this round comes to an end. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be back.
This is going to be interesting.
There's the bell for round 3 between these two fighters. We're scheduled for 10. Glenwood Brown wearing the red trunks, trimmed in black, going up against Bernice Barber, who's wearing the red trunks, trimmed in white.
Bernice comes out using a very effective jab, doubling it up, which is something good that he needs to do to establish himself. Keep Glenwood from coming over top with a counter right hand, going 2 and 3 jabs at a time.
I want to take this opportunity to just thank the rest of the crew that's with us here tonight. Of course, Roland Nelson's back behind the wheels of the cameras, keeping the wheels rolling there. And, of course, one of our trusted cohorts, a guy that's actually coming back from a little bit of an illness, and he's making a very, very speedy recovery. But he's also here helping out as well. Daryl McKenzie, also known as Faded Black. We're certainly appreciative of both those guys that are helping to make this show the success that it is. And as we get back to the action, John, how do you have it scored so far?
Well, it's early, but I got it 19-19. It's all even. Bernice took the second round with some excellent body work. And now, look who's in the attacking mode. It's Bernice Barber working Glenwood Brown around the ring. I guess he tasted those shots to the body, and he didn't like what he felt.
Champ, as you look and see some of the adjustments that Glenwood Brown is making, do you think this is a result of him just settling down for a long fight, or is it Bernice Barber starting to get to him?
Both, a little bit of both. I think he realized that he started out kind of fast, and he took a good right hand there from Bernice Barber. He started out kind of fast in the first round, and he started for a little while, so you might as well settle back and get yourself geared up to go the long distance. Unless you land a good shot and hurt the guy, then jump in there and get him out of there.
When Glenwood Brown was a challenger and a ranked fighter for the World Welterweight Championship, he was about action, about attacking, about good, strong body work. Here he looks very slow. He's trying to be methodical and patient, but he's going to have his hands full against Bernice Barber if he keeps fighting in this style. He's got to get to work.
And Bernice Barber has landed a pretty good straight right hand on a few occasions, and he's showing that left hook at times as well. So there's a couple of shots that look like he may be able to have some success with, unless Glenwood Brown is able to start doing some things differently himself and turn this thing around a little bit. Coming up on 30 seconds to go here.
And I think Bernice just hurt Glenwood Brown with a little right hand down to the midsection, and he's got him along the ropes.
Bernice Barber mixing his shots up very well between the head and the body.
Well, to the head, to the body, that's what he must do, establish himself. You kill the body, the head will fall. He's landing some very good body shots, especially around that midsection of Glenwood Brown.
What do you think it would mean for a guy like Bernice Barber to come in here if he were to be able to score a victory over a guy with the credentials that Glenwood Brown has?
A pretty good payday somewhere down the line.
Jack. They're all cutting out.
And there's the bell. It's the start of the fourth round between these two super middleweights. Glenwood Brown in the red trunks trimmed in black, and Bernice the Heat Barber. And certainly Bernice Barber turned up the heat in that last round, and as he continues to do so, we're not seeing a whole lot of answering back on the pot at this moment, at least, from Glenwood Brown, and we don't know if he's playing possum or if, in fact, Bernice Barber is beginning to take his game to another level and get Brown in a little bit of trouble here, John. Oh, big hook upon Bernice Barber.
Well, I think once Glenwood Brown was unable to get Bernice Barber out of there in the first round, he kind of lost his taste for fighting. I don't know if he's interested in pitching to win this bout. This is just too tough a customer in front of him, and now he's just taking a beating. And Glenwood Brown doesn't have the fire that he used to have back in his heyday.
And Bernice Barber continues now to just tee off on Glenwood Brown.
And some very big shots and catching Glenwood on the end of those punches. So it's going to be just a little while longer before the referee has to step in there and question about stopping this fight, because he looks like he's hurt. He's not showing any signs of fighting back. If Bernice can continue to land those type of fights, he could possibly get a stoppage here.
Well, referee Greg Caponecchi gave a look at Glenwood Brown, asked him if he's okay, and I think I saw Glenwood say, "I'm all right," but now Bernice Barber continues to land hard shots with the left and the right hand here.
The thing that's doing the most damage is the right hand, because Glenwood and a jab just land. The thing about Glenwood is he's dropping his left hand each time he jabs. He brings down to his waist, and Bernice is coming over top with a straight right hand.
And we certainly don't want to take away from what Bernice Barber is doing, because he's fighting very effectively right now. But it almost seems like there's just something not there with Glenwood Brown. He's just not doing half of what he did just a round or two ago.
Well, if the Glenwood Brown camp thought they were going to get a win in the column against an easy target like Bernice Barber, they were in for a big surprise, because this guy fights some of the toughest fighters in the world even up, or pretty much even up. Glenwood Brown, it's kind of a shame to see, Jerome, because this was one of the finest welterweights in the world, and you know, when a fighter stays on too long past his prime and doesn't come in good physical condition, it's just a shame to watch the decline.
And again, you can't help but comment on the fact that the extra weight that Glenwood Brown is carrying is certainly not going to help him as his fight goes on. His conditioning certainly has to be questioned in terms of looking at his body and just wondering them taking this fight under these conditions.
Well, he's definitely not in the best shape right now, so they're going to have to weigh his options after this fight, possibly trimming down, get a little fit, a little trimmer, a little better condition, because he's definitely having telltale signs on him here, because Bernice Barber is having his way here in this round. Everything he's throwing, when he wants to do whatever he wants to do, he's pretty much having his way.
And the Barber camp obviously was confident coming into this fight, Vincent, because Glenwood Brown's outweighing him by 11 pounds, and they didn't seem to complain too much about taking this fight despite the disparity.
Coming up on the end of this round as Bernice Barber lands another series of big shots there in the corner of Glenwood Brown. Glenwood Brown holding on at this point.
Take care of yourself, man.
You say good.
And we're heading into the fifth round. Bernice Barber literally races across the ring there to catch Glenwood Brown. Bernice Barber racing across the ring, almost catching Glenwood Brown in his corner.
That body shot hurt, and I think Glenwood came out in a very defensive posture, and he rode with that one. He missed that one a little, but I think that body shot hurt Glenwood.
And Greg Caponecchi better stay very close here, because I think Glenwood Brown is in some difficulty right now.
Time to stop the fight. Glenwood Brown didn't even come out of his corner for this round. He just stood up from his stool. He doesn't want to fight anymore. I think it's just time to stop the fight.
Greg Caponecchi is going to have to keep a close eye on this, because Bernice Barber is really turning up the heat. Glenwood Brown dropping his gloves at this point and just taking a series of shots.
Punch back yet.
Big shots now on the part of Bernice Barber, and this fight is stopped.
The commission had to tell him to stop the fight, because he never